Hey, welcome back to another episode of Heavy Rotation, a tribute to Cleveland metal and beyond. We are going beyond tonight. We got Mr. Dakota Rivera back in for the second time. He's constantly releasing new music, collaborating with people, primarily in the realm of brutal death metal, but we'll get into a little bit checking in on him where he's expanded on that a bit too into some other genres. But yeah, we'll just go ahead and get right into it. How you doing, brother?
Awesome, man. Really good. How you doing, bro?
I'm great, man. Been having a lot of fun doing the show. And it continues to grow, particularly with Corey from Fistula was really appreciative and supportive after coming in and recommending me other people to come on, like Curran Murphy, who's played with, right?
So Kurt. He's wonderful.
He's so cool and humble, and
he is.
You know, and like has the Venom Inc. right now, but it's there's something I want to see here. Oh, there we go. Now I can see the audio level. It's not like a new thing for him. Like he was playing with Nevermore back in like 2000.
Oh yeah.
I kind of realize that at first.
And then 72. We talked a little bit about Dan. He did 72 Legions too. That was right around the time that, like I said, Dan had featured for one of my bands. So I ended up meeting Dan, and then ended up morphing my way into meeting him as well. And he just was again, just like Dan, just a very sweet guy.
Very. Yeah, and everyone's a little different. I mean, like,
yeah.
I love that about our scene, you know, worldwide, and you know, in Ohio or in the Midwest, or however you would say, like, you have people that are a little more the underground ethos. Like, you know, I had Joe Reed come in here, who is singing with Limb Splitter now. And he's gonna be doing Forged and Gore stuff, I believe.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's recording, and then I don't know, I don't know, but that's what he told me. And then you know, he's doing like these crazy like grind projects. Like he's got one with Noah. Noah is a 2-man.
Yep.
Both these bands are 2-man bands. KNB. And then Mutated Sex Organ.
MSO. Yeah.
I can say that on the, you know, it sounds crazy to say that out loud, but like that's not it's not AC if you know, pick up what I'm saying there. Yeah, it's just funny what the no words are, but what can we do? All right. So, dude, first and foremost, man, congrats on releasing this new single. Featuring
thank you
featuring your better half,
my missus, man, my wife.
Yeah, dude,
it was cool, really cool.
I have questions about this, man. So tell me, bro.
Yeah, go for it.
I just wanted to ask you, like,
so we had done me and the same writer of this band Bitchsectomy, and we had did another like thing called Gormaculate, and we had done like a 3-song demo, and it got picked up by Vile Tapes Records, and we started on an EP, but it just kind of like, I don't know, kept blending in with the band we were already doing. And at that time period, I had approached my wife, and I was like, hey, you know, I think it'd be, because my wife's always been one of those people she is down for anything, that she won't take any embarrassment, or she just likes having fun. So when I hit her up, I was like, hey, so she'd been super supportive of my music, and I was just like, hey, you know, you want to try doing vocals? She had tried then, but it was like, I don't know, like maybe 3 to 5 seconds worth of vocals. And then we didn't end up using the track, or we didn't end up going or doing anything with Gormaculate. And then later on, fast forward to the new record that we're working on for Bitchsectomy, and it was like a no-brainer. I was like, I don't really, I'm not a big feature person. I don't really care for, because some bands, they kind of feature all throughout the track. But, this one was kind of like we've done so many albums already, and it was like our very first full length, and it's kind of special in a sense. So, I was like, you want to try this with me? And we ended up coming home after work one day, because we work at the same place. And she sat in here, man, with me at my station here, and we just grinded on it. I showed her what to do. I had her mimic the weird sounds that I make, and kind of coached her through it, and kind of helped her find her happy medium. Because it was a lot of like, obviously when she started doing it, she didn't really know where her actual sound was. So when she would start doing her vocals, it'd go like from a and it would just fall flat. So it was one of those things that we had to like kind of find her happy medium and see where her vocals would lie. But it came out sick. It came out so good. I was so proud of her, man, for doing that.
Yeah. So I was curious to know, like, in the time that you've known each other, has your wife, has she always been into like harder music, death? No. So this is you've been
no.
You've been I guess you good, bad, however you want to say. You've been an influence on her.
Like I said, she's supportive. You know what I mean? Like when we first met, she had flavor for, I guess you'd say, like your metalcore bands. Like she's gonna get judged so hard for this, but like Falling in Reverse and Pierce the Veil, or those bands. She liked that stuff. And then, but then right around the time that I had met her, I'm not gonna lie, she was very much into like heavy rap music. So like she only listened to like Tech Nine, Hobson, a lot of that stuff. And then I come into this picture, and I'm trying to have to explain to her, like, look, man, I do heavy metal. I scream, I do yada, yada, yada. And she didn't know the links that I went to do this stuff. It was just kind of like, and it was an adjustment, her, getting into it. But it was, now she's kind of, within the last year, coming out of her shell. I wouldn't say that she's like into the heavy death metal stuff, but she's more of now into like bands like Breaking Benjamin, Chevelle, I don't know. She likes Seether, that kind of stuff. She's still on the borderline. I don't think she's ever going to get into the nougaty goodness of what death metal can be. But she's been supportive of me, so I'm grateful, man.
That's a beautiful thing,
yeah.
man. I mean,
yeah, man.
So, and as far as music, I mean, there's probably a couple dudes out there or women out there that have maybe the first thing they really, if their parents were big death metal heads, maybe the first thing they heard was Cannibal Corpse. But for most of us, no, right? Like, so there's no judgment, and like, everyone's got a starting point.
I mean, I think last time we talked, I brought up how it was kind of weird joining her family and finding out that her aunt was big into 90s death metal. And that was still shocking to me, man. Like, it's still to this day shocking, because like I said, usually if I tell someone at my job that I'm into this stuff, they just kind of look at me confused. They're like, "You like Five Finger Death Punch?" Or something, So then I got to explain to them, like, no, this. And then after I explain all these crazy bands with the most obscure sounding name, they're like, their focus on me has completely shifted at that point. So it was cool to hear that her aunt had seen bands like Mortal Decay and freaking back in the day Cannibal Corpse and all these different types of bands growing up. You know what I mean? So it was cool to be able to sit down with them and have them kind of, I don't know, like coach me on some stuff. Like because of them, I found out about Gutted. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have found out about Gutted. I love them. They're incredible. Basic stuff. That would be a cool getting them on here, man. That'd be sweet.
Yeah. And forgive me if I'm out of pocket on this, but was Gutted not? I think there's two different bands, and I think that the band you're referring to is the reason that Odious changed their name, because I want to say that the first incarnation of Odious Sanction was called.
Now this is something I don't know. That's cool.
Yeah. But like, if anyone here is hearing this and they're like, I don't know, whatever, just call me a poser if you have to. Good, but I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that's what was told to me from.
They
Scott.
were out of Toledo.
Yeah, I think so. That's what happened. I think they
released the album "Bleed for Us to Live."
Yeah. So anyway, so there was, I'm in like 99% now sure that was a conversation I had with Scott, that they were originally Gutted, then they realized there's another Gutted in Toledo, so they switched up the name to have Odious Sanction. But
that's cool. I did not know that. That's the more you know.
Yeah, it happens.
And right? I know there's another Gutted band too. I mean, it's really not. I can't. This one, yeah. I think the other one's either. I don't know. I want to say Texas. I might be wrong. I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's wrong. Like there's two Disgorge.
Yeah.
There's another Embalmer somewhere else too. I mean, some of these names are. It's just once.
Oh yeah.
Once death metal got so really blew up in the '90s, that was just like bound to happen, because everyone's like, well, yeah, I need a name that's fits that vibe, and they so yeah, hence right. Sometimes you see on a flyer parentheses Ohio or Texas or whatever. But anyway, brother, so I just want to say it, man, but I guess we're gonna abide by the rules. Bitchsectomy, as Snoop Dogg would say it. Bitchsectomy, man.
Oh, you gotta go there.
Is that's your?
That's my daughter.
Your daughter there? Oh, okay, right on. She's like, "What are you doing, man?"
Yeah, she's like, "What are you doing right now?"
Excellent. So you have a daughter and a son, I think, and then
I have 4 kids, man.
Hi there. Your dad's doing an interview with. He's telling us about all the crazy music that he sings on. What do you think?
Music that I've done.
What do you think about that?
Hey, what do you think about Daddy's music?
Good. I like it.
She says it's good. She likes it, so I'll take that as a win.
That is wholesome, man.
I love you, sweetheart. Oh, I love you too, baby. Night, sweetheart.
Hey, that is excellent, man. You just warmed my heart with that, man. That'll be a first. I mean, no one's bringing their kids. Well, normally, I have people that come to the studio here, and then I have Zoom. But that's definitely the first, and I have zero issues with that, man. That was a nice little moment there.
Like I said, I have 4 kids, man. I got 4 kids. I have a 10-year-old. He'll be 11 soon. I got an older daughter that's 6, and then there's Mila, and she just turned 6. And then I have my son, who's 2, who'll be turning 3. So I'm loaded, man, on children.
Well, I think they're lucky to have you as a father, man.
Oh man,
I know you're a working class guy. You said you work. You're doing factory work. I didn't want to overshare. Say the name of the.
Oh no, you're good, man.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you told me you work for Whirlpool, and that's where you had met your wife there initially too?
Yeah. Met her there. Yep.
Right on, man.
Yep. And then outside of there, I work at Ossuary Industries, doing what I can for that.
I definitely, I'm glad you brought that up. I don't know how much we really went into that last time, but I'll give you a quick bit of praise since like we're here on this show. Like, man, thank you so much for making me that logo. That's worked out really well. And so the reason I'm saying that is to piggyback off that. So I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you do a lot of like layout and design work for the ossuary industries?
Yeah. I always try to tell people that I'm mediocre at best. It was one of those things that I don't even know how I stumbled into. It was just kind of, I did this stuff. I didn't go to school for it. I knew that doing music like this and, I guess outsourcing, this stuff can get really expensive. You know what I mean? So when I took on the idea of, doing this vocals and, doing what I do, I was like, what can I do to minimalize having to spend so much freaking money? You know what I mean? So that's when I bought my own home studio. I taught myself how to do Photoshop and just kind of basic Photoshop, you know what I mean? But I made it decently work for me, and I kind of got lucky and worked for started up a band with this guy. His name's Jonathan Blake. He plays in Castrated, and they're out of Texas. And because of me talking to him, we ended up linking up with Ossuary Industries to sign. And then because of me linking up with Ossuary Industries, he was like, Brian believed in me, from the very beginning, and has always believed in me. He was like a dad to me. And he was like, I'm going to scoop you up and you can, it took no time. He was just like, I'm going to scoop you up and you can do this for me. And I was sold within seconds. I didn't know what I was going to be able to do with it, but I was like, I'm going to try my hardest and see what I can do and see what what comes of it, and I've gotten blessed. I've got to work with, really amazing bands, be it in Ossuary, that I never thought I'd work with.
Very cool, man. So, how does that normally play out? Like, say there's a new release on the horizon.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. Brian, he'll hit me up and be like, "Hey, son," he'll be like, "I got this coming out. I need this done. I need this flyer done. I need you to create an advertisement for me." And then it's kind of one of those things that toward the, as I do all the ads and the pre-order ads, out now ads, then I've kind of gotten to a point now where it's kind of migrated now. I'm like, I handle the Bandcamp. I release the music for Bandcamp. Now I've grown from that to now I do I send everything to press for the factory. So they print all the CDs that which I developed all layouts for the CDs. So then I have to go and get a hold of the press. They print the CDs, and then we just migrated now to vinyl, which was huge for me to learn. So we have our first vinyl release coming out, which is for a band called Sick Bay. And, oh man, their music's tight. They're out of New York. But yeah, it's been cool, man. I've gotten to do all sorts of different cool things with Ossuary, man, that I didn't think I'd ever be able to do.
Hey, man, I'm sure, just the experience alone sounds very fulfilling. But then as tying into like your own pursuits, I mean, I'm sure that's can only be helpful.
Brian, he is how do I say it? I mean, dude, I think Ossuary started in 2004. So he's been around for a long, long, long time, and he's met a lot of people. He's done so many different things, and because of me just being in his presence for a small amount of time, I mean, I feel like I'm kind of chasing his coattails at time, because he knows so many people, you know what I mean? And it's a blessing because, with me just being around him, I've gotten to talk to people that, I'm a huge, and I will say this, and I tell everybody this, I'm a huge Infernal Dominion fan, major Infernal Dominion fan. And, I've got to talk to all those guys because of Brian. Which is amazing. And on top of that, I've got to talk with Brian Moeller from Artery Eruption. I got to work on their stuff, which was huge. I met, which is also too, I wouldn't have been in Sadistic Butchering if I wouldn't have met John, who was in Terrorverse, and we released their music. So it's just like I said, I've gotten lucky.
Yeah, right on, man. What's going on with
I'm 5.
Oh,
I'm 5.
You're 5?
Yeah.
What was your name again?
Mila Rose Rivera.
Rivera,
right? Mila Rivera. Okay.
Your daddy has to do this, okay?
With I was going to ask you something about Sadistic Butchering, but I'll table that for a sec. First and foremost, so you have the newest release from Bitchsectomy, featuring your wife on. So I did listen to the track and I watched the video and I was sort of like trying to figure out, did she sing throughout the whole track, or is it? I think I can hear that the vocal. It sounds to me like it's later in the track, or is it throughout the whole thing?
No, it's later in the track.
Yeah, because I could hear.
I do like some high, like it's like a high, and then there's another high, and then it's her right after that, and then she has like maybe 20 seconds, 30 seconds. But it's funny that you have a hard time depicting that because I feel like that's a good thing. Yeah, that's a good thing. I feel like, that means that you could not tell it was her.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was just like, yeah, I've listened to music you put out. I know that I respect your work, man, and your skill and your talent. So I'm like, well, what's this gonna sound like? I'm like, I didn't know his wife could sing like that. So that was my first thought as I'm going through. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be super obvious when it goes to it. I
had people literally say, dude, you're lying. You're lying. That's not her. Because I had to cut the snippet and post the snippet of her doing the vocals because I had people saying that they couldn't. Where was she? I'm like, she's right here. But I mean, that's just I'm proud. I'm a proud husband. Okay. I felt like I achieved something. I'm like, yeah.
So
I had to tell her. I had to psych her up, pump her chest up some.
Yeah, like let's go.
Yeah. Soccer. No, I'm just kidding.
What was I going to say? So were the lyrics already written, and then you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know
that was funny.
Okay. I didn't know she getting down with the, that'd be maybe on a future track.
Yeah. No, it was one of those situations where I wrote the lyrics. We sat down in here, and she was sweating. She was scared. I was like, look, I said, honey, we're just going to do this piece by piece. I said, you have this segment. If you can get through this segment, if you don't like it, we'll scrap it and we'll retry again until you're happy with it. And, as she kept moving through, she's like, her sound started building. And she's like, wow, she's like, what I did here sounded better than this. So then she'd want to go back and fix that. And then it just got, it kind of got to the point where I told her, I said, I said, this is it. I said, you can do it. You just you gotta find your chi.
Yes. I mean, dude, I've hired vocalists for both songs that I've released with my own project, and I really wish I could just do it myself. And I sort of at the point where I don't know. I have been working at it a little bit, but I don't know. Any suffice to say, the reason I'm saying this is it's not an easy thing to do. So yeah, respect.
It's I'm a one trick pony, man. Like, I know there's people out there that can do like the fries, and then they can go from a fry into a low, and then they go from a low. Like, I don't know, man. I just do what I do, and I hope it's cool and people liked it. One of the biggest things that I strive for, and not saying I achieved it, but one thing that I wanted the most when I started doing vocals is just to kind of have my own sound. You know what I mean? Like, some people they're so good at mimicking somebody else, and I didn't want that. I wanted my own sound. You know what I mean? Something that, I when I grew up listening to music, I felt like you could always differentiate who was who, and you could name off who this was and who that was. And I feel like now it's kind of gotten to a point where it's so oversaturated. And I don't know, I try to blend so many different styles. And I think that's, you brought up that I'm musically inclined in all different genres. And a lot of that stems from the fact that I believe me being musically inclined in all different genres is what's kind of helped me become a better musician, I would say, because I don't just, stick to one thing. I try to migrate around from black metal to doom to brutal death metal to, I even sing in my spare time. I've released stuff of me singing. I just feel like being musically inclined and kind of dabbling with different genres kind of helps you in the long run. I would say it helped me out tremendously, especially with finding my flow. Because for a while, man, I really struggled with combinations.
Combination meaning, going from like different techniques, like a real low.
Well, not even just that, but like one thing I strived really hard this year was to focus on doing vocals extremely fast. And that's with Delirious Compulsion was that band that I was like, this is unbelievably technical. This is as technical as I've ever done. And it's literally just a roadmap of all sorts of different turns for me to calculate my vocals from going fast to slow to catchy to high to, so that was one of the, major things that I've been within the last couple of years have been really trying to work my hardest on. Is not a lot of vocalists do fast vocals anymore. So I've been trying to work on that and get more speedy and repetitive or more repetition in that, I should say, not repetitive.
I was listening to the latest release of Delirious Compulsion, just driving over here to the studio. And for the first time, really, I think there was I think I had heard one song before because we like previewed it. Yeah. But yeah, dude, I was digging it, man. It is very technical. And sort of, this is just through my scope, it's much close, like brutal technical metal, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But there was like, like I used to, I don't really haven't listened to it in a while, but when Planetary Duality came out and the Faceless, that was an album that really like stuck with me.
That was a sick album, man. Yeah.
So I felt like there was a little bit of that in there. I don't know if that's like an influence that the main songwriter has, but there were definitely parts like that, but then combined with like, there was some good like slammy stuff and just like, yeah, just that's a really solid recording, man. And yeah,
I don't know really what I know. He was listening to he is a sucker for Deeds of Flesh, man. He loves Deeds of Flesh.
Same.
A whole lot. So I don't know if I know that that's where he gets a lot of his technical. But I mean, Philip he's a diamond in the rough, man. I found him on YouTube. Like he was just he made like instrumentals and sold them, but he wasn't popular. I had just seen a beat that he had. It was like an old school brutal death metal instrumental. And I had messaged him. He was 16 at the time period when I messaged him. And I was like, hey, man, I said, this is really cool. I said, we should work together. And I kind of told him who I was and, what I'd done. And I was working with Bitchsectomy or whatever. My bad. Sorry.
That's
flipped
fine.
out.
It's fine, dude.
And he was all for it, man. And then we ended up working. We had worked on Putrefied Degradation. That was the first thing we had did, and it was like I don't know, like a 4 or 5 track EP or something. And then we ended up working on Carcass, and then that was like another EP. We've just kind of branched all over the place working on stuff together. But yeah, he was so young, man, when I first met him, and he's just kind of blossomed, and he's kind of proved his worth. Everyone I've kind of put him in front of, and he's wrote instrumentals for. I mean, he rises to the occasion, man, and dude's an unbeatable force, that's for sure.
Yeah. So with that is you said Philip. Should we shout him out, or is he kind of like a low profile cat? What should we say his full name?
His name's Philip Ryba.
Yeah, I mean,
he's an outstanding guy, man. He works hard, man. I think he's working on. It's hard to say. The dude's all over the place working on all. We talk. We're working on new Carcass right now, but last I knew he had broke his arm, so he's kind of So he's kind of tapped out for a second. But speaking of actually Carcass as well. I can't say the second word, but
I mean, I was looking. That's why I keep looking up, because I'm looking at like what things are not supposed to say. I don't know. That's sort of like a gray area, but yeah, just go with your gut on that. I was gonna say
let's mate, man. Well, Carcass Trappist. Trappist. He traps carcasses.
Well, I was gonna say it's very dark. I feel like it got more dark as the interview went on.
It did, dude. Like, it got immensely dark in here. I even tried turning a light. Hold on.
I'll leave that up to you, but I
felt like I was like a part of like a Star Wars thing, man. I felt like I was like a Sith Lord over here.
No, I think this is what you have there is better. Otherwise, it sort of looked like I was in, like one of those like Gangland, where it's like it's like Dakota used to be a member of the Rolling 60s.
You don't know my name.
And it's like you're just thinking like, man, this dude's gonna get found out. Like they're just gonna see.
Dude.
You can still see the silhouette.
You're
like,
good.
like you're dude.
Well,
You better.
I'm not gonna say that they touched me, but they did. I might have been there at the time.
I like how they always like put like the deep voice thing on them too, to make them so you couldn't recognize their voice. Oh, but yeah. Oh, what I was gonna say was
let's go.
Carcass. Yeah. So actually we're right now writing a full length for that as well. So that I have Delirious Compulsion's full length just released this year. I got Bitchsectomy's full length is going to be releasing this year. And then we are right now writing for Carcass Rapist.
Yeah, Rapist. You can say like Rapist.
Yeah, Rapist. Yeah, there, yeah. And actually, Scott from Odious Sanction did a part on it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'll just have to interview you like sometime. It is what it is. You know, I'm going to be respectful of this opportunity, you know, and it's through they anywhere you go, like, has its rules and norms and whatnot, right? And it just is what it is. But you know, we'll do another interview sometime so we can be a little more loose with things. And it's not really my style to be like, you know, like super cussing like a lot anyway. But it's, you know, anyway. I'm happy you're here, man. People see your name. They you know, if they're interested, they can do their homework and, you know, find some stuff to listen to. You know, I got
one of those cool metal archives. You know, I've reached that limit.
Hey, you know, shout out to the people that do those things because, I guess it's just like it's one of those things.
Yeah.
Not
like a week.
Not even trying to. I don't want this to come off as like self-serving. But I would compare it to like what I'm doing here. You know, this is just a volunteer. I truly enjoy doing it.
I love it. It's like a portfolio, man. It's all there. It's all listed. You know what I mean? And I don't know who does it or who's the person, but I mean they make sure they lock in and they put up there the next thing I release. So I got to give whoever's out there some credit. Because I don't know who you are, but thank you for being a fan and feeling the need to make sure my metal archives is updated.
Yeah, you know, it'll show their name. You know, I mean, it'll be like screen name. Like
okay.
Like
they're like username for their account.
Spirit Crusher 666 or whatever it is, you know. Oh, that's like name of a
boy 766.
Oh, that was the name of a death song. I don't know, but I just couldn't think of anything. But you know,
and then I'm over here, emo boy. That's not my username. Okay.
Yeah, what that means it is or no? Yeah.
No.
And then when we go look it up, it's like Dakota Rivera Metal Archives uploaded by Emo Boy. No, but it's cool, you know, and it's just like a thing of like people who get a genuine sense of fulfillment by documenting good stuff. You know, it does feel good.
That stuff is cool, man. I love it. Cool stuff.
So. All right, so you're working with Mr. Philip. What's his last name again?
Ryba.
Ryba?
Yep, Ryba.
Philip Ryba.
At least I think that. Yeah.
Very talented guy, man. So did he on Delirious Compulsion and then on we'll stick with Delirious Compulsion for a second. Is he like just doing everything and you're doing the vocals?
Dude, no. With Delirious Compulsion, it was different because we actually had a bass player, which was Joe Mortimer. He's been in, oh my gosh, so many different things. He's like the town's bass player. He just gets around. Dude, he does it all. I mean, crepitation. I mean, everything. I mean, he's doing bass for everybody. And then we had Livio. He did the drums, but they were programmed drums. But he's a class act, man. I mean, the dude is just he's just one of those people, man, that just keeps going. He was in Vomitrocious, and Vomitrocious did a album, I want to say it was a year ago now, a couple years back, but it got a lot of leverage, man. It got a lot of leverage. But he's just one of those people, man, that he's so good at taking drums and making them sound like super realistic, and that's what he's known for. But yeah, it was me, Philip, Joe, and then Livio. We're all international. I want to say Joe is in UK, and I want to say Philip I know is in Czechia, and I think Livio's in Switzerland.
Where is Philip?
And then there's Czechia, Czech Republic.
Oh, like Czech Republic. Okay.
Yeah, Czech. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me a minute. I'm like, okay, I think these are programmed drums. But yeah, it was, you know, it didn't really, it wasn't like, you know, I was like into like the second or third track before I started to think that, you know, so it definitely was done well. And, you know, hot topic right now, of course, you know, like AI music, I'm firmly against that. I don't really have a problem though with people programming drums. It still was created by a person. And like some albums, like I was listening to this Fulci album, and I didn't even realize it was programmed drum. I think it's not on all their albums, but maybe some of the older ones. Like I think it's
now. I will say that I work with people with programmed drums. I don't mind it because I know finding a drummer can be hard. And if you're like me and you like writing music, you're gonna take what you can get regardless, right? That's why I produce so much content. Why I constantly release stuff. If I subsided to the point of, you know, I'm never gonna do music because that dude is playing fake drums or drum programming, I would never do music again. At least until I found an actual band, right, that actually did that stuff. And I'm not one of those people that I don't settle. I like writing. It's kind of like, I hate to say it's like my drug. You know what I mean? So that's why I release so much content, or why I have 3 full-length albums coming out this year, because I can't stop writing. I love writing so much. And I don't let nothing hold me back for that reason. But it's one of those things where I'm noticing as a whole that drum programming is going to become a problem. And I can openly say that. I'm probably going to get hated for it, but I've noticed a lot more labels are now a lot more strict when it comes to getting bands that have drum programmed. They're just not, they're not going to, they're probably not here. I would say within the next couple years, it'll be a lot more strict than it has been. Ossuary will not sign a band if they have drum program. I just seen, what was that record label? New Standard Elite's the same way. Comatose is the same way. But yeah, it sucks because if you're like me and you like making music and it's hard to find a drummer, well, you're kind of have to self-release probably here soon.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely respect that. I do respect that.
Yeah, I can't get mad at it, man. You know, they want the real deal. You know what I mean? And if you have a drummer, they know you're the real deal. So, and I get it. I will say, you know, with all the bands, you know, even me as a whole, it's getting so oversaturated. Anyone can do it now.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm firm on that with, I mean, typically in songs I've written, I would always program the drums, but then I would hire a drummer to play it.
Yeah.
Or, so it's just meant to be like a stepping stone. But no, I really respect that, and I saw that is like a tagline for them, like NSE, like no drum machine, no BS, basically.
I'm trying to think of that record label that just shared that too. They literally openly were just like, we are not going to sign you if you have programmed drums.
Well, I mean, to put backing behind a band, you know, whether it's the money or even just to like, you know, let them share in like your clout or however you want to say, it's like you're looking for bands that are actually going to go out and gig and stuff like that.
Yes.
I think
exactly.
Is so it's more so that I think is probably part of it. But it also just reads better on paper. To see like a band with 4 members and not just like a one-man band, I guess, right? Or you know, so yeah. But that's what independent release are for. I mean, that's like you said, sometimes it's like, well, this is the situation.
This is what we got. This is what we got to do. Yeah. And like I said, I'm not knocking it. I obviously the new album I'm releasing, you know, they have it, you know, but it does have its weaknesses. It will. And but you know, is that going to stop me from doing it? Heck no. Sorry, if y'all hoping I was going to quit music, it ain't going to happen. You know, but I do. You know, I do have. Obviously, I have 4 kids, so me playing live or doing anything live is going to be immensely hard for right now. But you know, I have opportunities that I would like to see it. You know, with Sadistic Butchering, I'd like to see that later on become something. That's a full band. You know, I'd love to see that. Crip Ripper. We have a full team, man, and that right there would be just amazing. We've already talked about potentially maybe linking up and doing like a festival somewhere overseas. Because most of those guys, they're all in Belgium. They all play, and these are the guys too that I do with Bitchsectomy. So, you know, I am very close to these guys. So if there's anyone that I would love to play live with, it would be with them. And, you know, with Crip Ripper kind of is like, I'm going to be honest, you know, I do a lot of music, but I feel like Crip Ripper's is the one that I personally love the most. It's not that it's obviously, you know, I go by my stage name's Crip Ripper, but it's more so I just love the aesthetic of it, man. It's very, very deep and dark and low and creepy and visceral. And I mean, it just sounds like the pits of hell in your ears. And I feel like just playing it live would just be a whole different experience.
What was the name for the band decided based upon you having that stage name?
It was actually. It really was. Yep. They and it was funny too because me and Cedric, who I write with, Bitchsectomy, he came to me and was like, "Hey man, you know, I have this idea. I want to get a drummer. I want to get a bass player. We're going to write a full length album." And he's like, the sound's going to change a little bit. He's like, it's not going to be as low guitar sounding as what the first we did. Like we released through Iron Fortress Records. It was like a 3-song track or 3-song album, but it was like 26 minutes long. And he sent me the new material and he was like, "Well, look, man," he's like, "if you do not like this, which is it wasn't one of those things where how do I say it? Like, he was like, if you don't like this, I'm not doing this." He's like, "You're the Crip Ripper. It has your name on it." He's like, "I'm not going to do this if you do not like it. So you gotta like it." And man, he showed me this new material and I was just blown away. But I'm not one of those people that's like super like, "You're gonna do what I say," you know what I mean, or whatever. You know, me and him just have that amazing relationship. I mean, we have been brothers from the very beginning. I mean, since we first met each other and we worked on Sun Told together, which was black metal. I don't know, man, musically, we just click so well. We don't argue. We don't fight. We think about the same cool stuff together. We wanted the same stuff for Bitchsectomy, to make everything sound like a scary horror movie and all sorts of different stuff. But, yeah, man, I'm really thoroughly excited for Crypt Ripper.
So with all these, the various projects you've done, are you normally, or I'll say it this way, have you always wrote your own lyrics and vocal patterns?
Yeah. From the beginning, I wasn't good at all. I was not. It took a lot of time and, a lot of finding, finding comfort, I guess is the best word to say. Finding what's comfortable for you when it comes to writing. What topics do you like the most? What topic do you feel is easy for you to write about, that kind of just flows on the paper? I had done things where, someone was like, hey, man, I'm in a hardcore band. Your vocals are sick. Write something. And I'm like, I'm not hardcore, man. Like, I'm not at all, bro. Like, what? Like this is not it. But I did know that I was big into horror movies and, I like scary movies. I went to school for, horror movie makeup molds and prosthetics, so I was like, I like the idea of like, blending that in, and throwing those ideas in there. So that kind of helped, and then also too, just something that's really important is just it's okay to take your writing seriously. You know what I mean? But try and have fun with it. Because the more you sit there and you lock in your head and you're trying to write stuff down and you're trying to write these lyrics and it's not coming because your brain's just so focused and you're getting frustrated, just take a step back and take a deep breath and try to have some fun with it, because that also, man, was a huge thing that helped me. And then, like I said, within the first year or this last year or whatever, I focused a lot more on my patterns, my patternization, and, writing a lot faster and doing vocals faster. But yeah, that was just something that I had to figure out what was comfortable for me. That's the big thing.
Yeah, the main reason I had this question for you was, when I was listening to the Delirious Compulsion stuff and I was looking at the song titles, and I think maybe even just the technicality of the music sort of lends itself to it, but it seemed that it's a bit different in well, I'll be honest with you, I didn't look at the lyric sheet, but I'm just basing this off of song titles, a bit more like esoteric and like thoughtful. I don't know, you want to say like different song titles, we'll say. I don't know exactly what the lyrics are, admittedly, but then perhaps what we would hear on Sadistic Butchering, if this song is called Be Killed, and then these other songs, they're like let's see, Path of Circuitry, The Catalyst for the Corrupted. So it's like, just based off that alone, it's like, are these song titles that the other band members are pitching to you, or that's all you?
That's all me.
I love it, man.
He came to me, Philip did. Philip came to me with an idea of what he wanted in theory. So like he wanted something along the lines of which is funny because, I don't condone drugs. I don't do drugs. I'm a father. So, but he came to me with this idea of kind of like your mind's on one big acid trip and like LSD or something along the lines of that. I don't know. So I just kind of took what he had said and formed it in my own way, kind of just being trapped in your mind, having crazy thoughts and all sorts of different stuff, man. And managed to work through that with, creating this idea that the mind is like a circuit board. And if something faults within the circuit board, the different dreams or nightmares that you can have, something wild like that, So with each track, I always, what I do is first when I write a song is that's the first thing is the title for me. The title is the most important thing for me. So if I hear a song and I write down a title, and then from there I tell a story. I try as hard as I can to tell a story with whatever I write. So usually I go, I record a segment, I'll write the lyrics, how the story's going to go, record within that segment. Then I reach to this part, and then I try to decide how I want it to flow within this area. Then I record that part, and then I write, it's just kind of me following as I go. I've seen people that write lyrics first. You know what I mean? They have their lyric sheet, they write it all first, and then they go into the studio, and then they start recording their stuff. And I have the hardest time doing that because I feel like I end up overwriting, if that makes sense. I end up putting way too many words on a page, and then I overcomplicate it, and then I have to cram all these words in somehow, some way. So I try to simplify what I do, and I try to make it more of, like I said, it's more or less just me finding a title and then telling a story, with whatever that said title might be.
Well, yeah, man, respect. And obviously, you said like you, this idea that was pitched, suggested of like, thinking about like a crazy acid trip or whatever that, you don't necessarily condone the use of, or however you said. I mean, I think that's just, nothing wrong with that. Not a new concept, like even outside of metal. I mean, like that you can, put yourself in the mind space of like an actor would, they call that like exactly. method acting,
exactly. Yep. Exactly. And
yeah,
and I do research too. I did some research as well, to see what I was getting myself into, but Delirious Compulsion was Philip's baby. I mean, he was the one that chose the, what the layout looked like. He was the one that got the logo set up. He was the one that I let him come up with the album title, The Erratum of Dysphoria. He was the one that came up with the theme, and I just was he just did the vocals and chose the track list. And but he's like I said, he mixed it. He did the mixing and mastering and all sorts of different stuff, man. Dude's unbelievable. But yeah, I usually, like I said, I'm lucky, and usually I don't know. I haven't worked with anyone yet that was like, look, man, it's my way or the highway. Okay.
Yeah, and you haven't worked with Fred Durst. You haven't worked with Fred Durst yet.
So I've been pretty grateful in a sense where they give me the free ability, like, to just kind of just have fun, man, and then just let me know what you get, and then I throw it at them, and they're like, "Hey, man, that's pretty cool. Thanks. Keep going." And then I just kind of keep going on with my thing. But
I mean, I've encountered that problem like with metal material where I wrote the lyrics and then I'm like very attached to it and wanting, someone else to do it that way. Whereas I just became impatient and like, I'm like, well, I want to finish this song and I'm just going to go ahead and write the lyrics. And, but then I think it's a little more personal. Like it's a little bit different than asking somebody like, hey, I wrote this guitar part. Can you record it? And to say, hey, I wrote this and I want you to sing it this way. I think the voice is a little more of a personal thing without getting too like spiritual, esoteric sounding. You know, like there's a little more to it.
And that was kind of one of those things too. Is like it was definitely with Delirious Compulsion. It was like it was a steep drop. You know what I mean? Like I was kind of amazed that I got picked to do the vocal. I mean, obviously I've worked with Philip before in the past. You know what I mean? And I was like, but I was kind of shocked that I was still going to be. You know, we've done so much stuff together that I was just like, hey, are you sure? You really want me to do this? You know, there's other 1,000 other vocalists out there that you could choose from. And, you know, I and then there's also in the back of your mind where, you know, which, you know, we had this before when you hit me up with the track and obviously it didn't work out. But that's the beauty of music. You know what I mean? That's the beauty of loving what you do. You know what I mean? Like you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. You're going to love it if somebody does it and you're going to hate it if you don't, you know, we all have a sound that we strive for, a sound that we want. And it's hard to, when someone comes at you and they're like, look, man, I have this idea and I want you to execute it this way. And with Philip, when he told me that, I was like, "Oh God, dude, I don't know. I've never wrote about anything like this. I don't know what the hell I'm doing." I said, I was up front. I was like, "I'll try my best, man. If you don't like it, then I'm sorry. You know, I did the best." But it worked itself out, man. You know what I mean? And I think it came out as a really cool record. I think it did really well. Did much better on Spotify than I thought it was gonna. And then I seen some people sharing it too on YouTube that were really excited about it. And some people that were saying that it was one of the better tech albums of the, I think you're nuts, but thank you, you know, and, you know, I'll take it. I'll take it as a win, man. And like I said, with this year, man, I'm just trying to, you know, it's, you know, hyper blast tech death with Delirious Compulsion. And then you're going to get Bitchsectomy, which is slow and brutal and just gory and bloody. And then you got, you know, Carcass, which is going to be a little bit more technical along the side of Deeds of Flesh. And, you know, it's, you know, I want to this year really showcase my abilities in full, you know, and it's important to me.
I'm here for it, man, and I'm you know, always excited to touch base with you and like see see what's in the works. You know, there was a one.
I can't.
Oh, go ahead, brother.
Yeah. What? No, you go first.
There was I'm gonna approach this carefully because I know this is music that hasn't been released, but there was song you sent me a while back and you're like, dude, what do you think of this, man? You know, I'm this guy wants me to sing on this song and it's like new metal, like
oh yes.
And I played it for my wife and I'm like, she was like really impressed and but the way you were, you know, and then just the way that I've always, you know, you've always been, I guess, is very humble. Like you were. Yeah, go ahead. Tell me.
I guess it's safe to say that I am still very much working on it, and this is the first time anyone's heard the name. It's called Thruster, is what the band name is going to be called. I'm working with a guy. I'm probably going to butcher his name, and I hope don't get mad at me. His name is Mateus. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. He lived and he was a resident for Cleveland for quite a while. I think he moved now. He lives in Poland now.
Oh.
But yeah, we are still very much working on this, and it is sounding really, really cool, man. We got a couple of covers on there that we're gonna do, which is gonna be really fun. Trying not to slip up and say too much because I really want to, but we got a lot of cool stuff that we're going to do, man. And we're kind of taking it easy right now because like I said, he did move. So with him going to Poland, he's still getting his stuff all reset up. But he actually just messaged me yesterday and sent me another song. And I think right now we have like the artwork's done for the album. You've heard one of the songs that was completed. I think we have like now 3 or 4 other songs that are done. But yeah, it's very Korn, Linkin Park. It's like a crossover of all sorts of different types of stuff, man.
I was impressed with
we've
your.
got a lot of Korn.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off at the end. I was impressed with your versatility on that, man. A lot of dudes can do the brutal vocals so well, and then when it comes to do some singing, and I don't necessarily mean like Dio or Iron Maiden, but like, you know, just anything that's sung, you know, not nothing like super fancy or whatever. But yeah, then it's just like, oh, that's not so, because they are wildly different techniques, you know.
I was a new metal kid though. I was a new metal kid. I grew up on new metal, you know, so I wouldn't be listening to half this stuff if I didn't grow up listening to bands like Mudvayne, Slipknot, Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, Edema, Korn, Taproot, you know, all these different bands, man. So I grew up listening to that stuff, and I feel like having that edge just kind of pushed me to want to listen to things a little heavier, you know what I mean? So but yeah, man, and I've always wanted to be or do stuff like that. I didn't know how well it would do, and it's still an adjustment. I will say it's a huge adjustment for me. When you hear yourself doing vocals all the time and you're talking about eating babies and farting out kids and who knows all the stuff I write about, and then you go 2 seconds later and you're singing like an angel, it's a little intimidating. It's a lot different. It's a lot different because then it takes so long just for you to build up confidence to do one thing, but then to turn around and do something else, it's a whole different thing. It's a whole different ball game. I feel like my confidence with this has been a lot more harder on myself. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I listen to it and I'm like, this is gonna go so bad. But then I have other people that are like, hey man, this sounds really good. And I'm like, you're lying.
Well, like,
you know, but
I have a thought about like this. I'm gonna try to put this into a cohesive little statement. You know, with the, you know, getting into like, you know, this harder music, you know, like death metal or what even just like punk or hardcore or whatever it is. Rap music, you even say, you know, there's a lot of image tied to it, and I respect you for, you know, or anybody rather, that you know, can play different types of music, or you know, sing it, play it, whatever it is, write it, and you know, for the quality and the execution, you know, of those projects to both be at a high level. You know, I always think about these things because I as a musician, like, you know, outside of like writing metal songs and stuff, you know, I've done a lot of gigs you know, with like cover band and I still do, you know, because that's a way to make some money and have an instrument in hand, you know, which is a great thing that I'm always thankful for. But I always think, this is my thing of thinking about this, because there's, you know, there's always going to be like haters out there and people who want to poke fun. If that person was in the room, which they never will be because they're just online, you know, like, yeah. But if they were, you know, would what am I gonna play different? No, I'm still gonna play as good as I can because I'm there doing a job, you know. So I just feel like that's just really important, man. It's like whatever you do, and I say this not to gas you up because we're doing an interview or whatever, because you know just to be nice to you, but like you know, yeah, like when you send me that track, I'm like, yeah, man, this is not what I would expect from dude, but it was, you know, could tell you put your all into it, you know. So
yeah, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I feel like people, especially in this genre. Let me reword this because I will say I feel like people who are true musicians who genuinely love music and they want to contribute to it every day. They're not confined to one genre. All the greatest musicians are not confined to one. They don't let them lie to you. Do not let them tell you, well, I came out listening to Cannibal Corpse, and that's all I listen to now. You know, that's not true at all. I can tell you right now, most people who are legitimately, I mean, just look at Amoeba. Go to Amoeba and look at some of the people that they have on Amoeba Records. And you will find that most people listen to all sorts of different types of music. And I believe wholeheartedly that listening to all types of different music and exploring different music will make you have, one, much more respect for music. And two, it'll make you a better musician. That's just some, just some flavor onto this interview for all you people who maybe been watching.
Yeah, I mean, you know, at the same time, you know, I firmly this is not meant to like walk back what I said. You know, I believe in what I said, and you know, and the compliments I gave to you, but you know, also, I think it's important not to like take things too personally. Like if someone's like, it might not even be a band you're in, but if you're just like so excited, like, hey, dude, check this out, you know, and they're like, those guys are posers, or that sucks.
Well, look,
it's just like, hey,
prime example,
you know,
right? We were supposed to work together. It didn't work, but we're still freaking cool as ever. I'm not going to get upset at that stuff, man. Like it didn't work. It's all good. I'm alive. I'm well. Things are still cooking. I'm still here. I'm glad I'm here right now on this show.
Oh, well, yeah, dude. And honestly, well, like we're at like an hour 15 right now. We would probably do like 15 more minutes. But I mean, I could probably have you come back like 10 more times, dude. Like,
dude,
because
I love hanging out with you, bro. I feel like we could literally talk about anything and everything. And like I said, I feel like if the cameras were off and it was just us talking, like without the filming, I feel like we'd be having a ball. We would be having a ball.
Well, yeah, I mean, hey, for sure. If you wait, are you down by Toledo? Or am I getting that wrong?
Yeah. I'm over by here. Yep.
Well,
BG.
If I make my way down there, I'll definitely let you know. And then if you come up to Cleveland at all, let me know too.
I love that,
so
man. You're a good dude, man. And I can't thank you enough for letting me come back on here for not once, but now a second time. And I really don't have a whole lot to say, but I'm grateful. Sure. I told my wife, I was like, look, I said, the dude's invited me on for a second time now. I said, I'm grateful. I'm humble. But I said, I'm not that cool. I don't think anyone really cares what I got going on. But I will say, if you do watch this, you will see some laughs between me and my friend over here. And you'll get to see my sweet, beautiful daughter that came down at least 5 times trying to weasel her way into this interview.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'm afraid I'm going to say wrong. Was it Mila?
Mila.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I just changed.
She tried, man. She tried so hard. There was at one point in time she came over and laid her head on my shoulder, and she's like, "Can I just tell him I'm 5 years old?"
That was
I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
That was great, man. So, Yeah, I don't know, man. I'd still like to do a collaborate with you at some point. I think
Yeah, brother.
like what I'll do is like, just now that I kind of know more about you and like how you are with your approach, like I'll just write something and then just send it to you and be like, hey, do your thing,
Do your magica.
Yeah, exactly, right. Because I obviously, you've, like I was really digging the Delirious stuff, right? So yeah, I think that's an important thing. It is cool to be able to like write a whole song by yourself and like really, take.
Yeah.
It's like being
It's rewarding.
It's like being well, at a much lower level, if we're being honest, but it's like being like freaking Beethoven or something, in your own little corner
Yes.
of it. You're like I'm putting together
I wrote a song about Be Killed.
a death metal symphony. Yeah. It's like a minuscule compared to like this amazing like orchestra of classical music. But it's like that. It's like you're like, okay, I'm putting together. I'm hearing these things. I'm like, okay, and it comes together. But then I mean, yeah, the fact does stand. When you're able to, I guess you could compare it to being like a coach or like someone that puts together a basketball team, or it's like putting together a roster. You're just like, oh, hey, we're gonna put these guys together and it's gonna be like magic,
Yeah. And that's how I feel, man. I've gotten, I don't care if. Obviously, I'm. Don't take this the wrong way. I'm unbelievably grateful if anyone checks out my music. If anyone checks out my music, thank you so much. It means a lot to me. But I don't write music for people. I write it for myself. I don't. I do it because, like I said earlier on in the interview, it's like a drug to me, man. I do it because it keeps me fulfilled. It keeps me being busy, keeps my mind flowing. It's all sorts of. It gives me a high like no other. You know what I mean? I like hearing when my album's completed and I get to listen to it. Even if I'm the only person that listens to it, that's what it's about for me, man. I know a lot of other people. They want to get signed to a record label. They want to tour across the world. They want to get merch and vinyl. And I've had, my fair share of bucket list things that I would, I've been gracious enough to at least cross off, But, it's just about the music for me. It's always been, it's why I bought an interface, why I started writing from home, why, I did play live at one point in time. Obviously, and I ended up having a family. And when you have a family, it gets hard. It gets hard, especially when you have 4 kids, man. It gets hard just to leave your family and go do that stuff. And obviously, I haven't been very lucky around the area that I'm at right now to find a full band. A lot of people around here don't play the stuff that I'm into. Usually, Cleveland's about the place that plays any sign of this brutal death metal stuff. So, I'm picky. I'm very picky, but yeah, I love doing it, man. I'll do it next year. I'll do it the year after that. I'll keep writing and writing and writing and writing if I can until I can't anymore.
I believe you when you say that, man. Impressive, body of work you have. And I wanted to make sure that because I said earlier, I started to ask you and I said, well, let's table that for a second. What's cooking with Sadistic Butchering? Any updates with that project?
Man, not a whole lot. I'm gonna be honest with you. John has been on tour, and Sasha, they've been on tour with Gorgasm.
Yep.
And they're just kind of off doing their own thing, man. I would never expect for John and Sasha to kind of like Gorgasm so massive. You know, they're their own history. You know what I mean? So, I just kind of, I just kind of sit back, man, and wait, and, me and John, we talk every once in a while. I check up on him, see how he's doing. But yeah, right. As of right now, man, we're just kind of taking it slow. We have two songs done outside of the one that released their new Standard Elite. So right now I think it's just going to be a slow process, man.
So those sorry to cut you off. Those songs are just they're just ready to go. They're just going to get probably rolled out as singles, like spaced out.
I don't know yet. I know the one is like in demo. It's not completely done yet. I think he still needs to redo the guitars for him. And then the guitars are completely done. They've been mixed and mastered, and the vocals have been put on it. And we have a guest vocalist on that track. And we're just kind of sorting through it at this point in time on how we're going to tackle everything. Like I said, it's been very quiet. I think I think Gorgasm's working on their full length right now, I believe. And then, obviously with all that, then they're playing live and touring. And I just think it's just one of those things where it's just going to have to just let time run its course kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously you got plenty of other stuff to keep busy with. But as far as I know of Sasha, just like his online presence, it seems that he I hate giving like misinformation, but this is just my perception. I think that it seems like he works on like movie sets maybe or something like that.
Yeah. He's I don't know what he actually does, but they did tell me that he's very his job's very physically demanding. Yeah. So says that he's very much a busy guy, and they all kind of have their own little thing, man. John has a family too. He's a family man. He has a daughter. And he's been doing this stuff for a long time too. I wish them the best, man. And I love them. They're great guys. And hopefully here within the next year, man, things start rolling up a little faster. If not, then it is what it is. We just hang 10, man, and wait.
I think it's pretty cool though, man. Like, to see like, cause okay, so you have those two guys and they're, they're doing Gorgasm. They're that's a big gig, right? And they're well established in the realm of brutal death metal. But then, kudos to you. And because it's like, if you look at the situation, it's like, okay, they brought in some I don't know, I guess you could say like some hired guns, right? Because they brought you in, and then they brought in this Christoph, like, dude. Is he gonna play on these other songs too, or?
He actually, I think if I can remember right, he did drums on the full album. The drums are all done. I think he was kind of one of those hired drummers.
Yeah.
And then they weren't sure exactly where they were going to take that. I think it was just going to be one of those things where John was going to do vocals for the album, but he's got hung up on so much different stuff between Gorgasm, and then I think he did some runs with Devourment. So he didn't know when he was going to be able to come back to Sadistic Butchering, and then I just kind of fell into it on a random thing. Like I said, with me working with John with Terrorverse, I kind of messaged him and, just kind of played a joke and was just like, hey man, I wish we could just copy you and just like paste like 15 other versions of you, and then I could write a cool album with. And he thought it was funny and was just like, he's like, I might have something for you. And I was like, huh? And he ended up sending me a track, and he's like, yeah, just have some fun with it. And I ended up recording, which was the track for Be Killed. And I wrote that, sent it over to him. I wrote it within 30 minutes maybe. Sent it over to him, and he loved it. He loved it. And he was like, this is like really good. And I was like, well, thanks, man. And then he had proceeded to tell me, he's like, what did you want to do? I was like, well, I was listening to Sadistic Butchering and made me think of you. And you're just an incredible writer, man. I love everything. He's like, well, you want to hear something funny? I said, what? He goes, this track is Sadistic Butchering. It's off their new stuff. I was like, whoa, wow. He goes, I've been playing back and forth about possibly finding a vocalist for this. And I was like, well, did I maybe stumble upon something? He goes, I think you might have. And then he ended up hiring Sasha to do the leads. And then there was some talk about potentially having their drummer from Gorgasm also fill in on drums for us when we were to ever play live. But this is all just kind of
conjecture.
What we'd like to see happen, and what we would like to see in the future happen, so it's just kind of, we'll see when the time comes,
Yeah.
I don't try to, like I said, I don't try to knock on their door very much. I want them to, they got their own stuff, man. They got their own business. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Gorgasm, yeah, man. They're way bigger than me, bigger than anything really. They're the best brutal death metal band ever, at least in my book. It doesn't get any better than Gorgasm. So they're at the tippy top. So
yeah, definitely one of the goats of that genre. Yeah, I think we can sort of wrap up. Definitely, anyone that's listening, how are you? Like, if people look you up, they could find you. You could look up Dakota Rivera.
Oh yeah,
on
Instagram
Dakota
Rivera, Metal,
Facebook. If you want to, shoot the man a message and just be like, yeah, I'm digging your music, or if maybe
I've got an extensive rap catalog.
maybe if you're looking to collaborate with someone, maybe you can get in touch.
Hit me up, man.
Get in touch with the man here.
Yeah, we'll work things out together. We can write some cool stuff together. I love writing, man. I wouldn't charge. Sorry, that's just how it is.
I think you'll be there one day, or like or maybe I don't know. I always like, depending on the situation, like I would just tell people like, well, I'm gonna pay you, because I just feel, not like I got big pockets or nothing, but I'm gonna give you $100. I'm gonna give you $200, whatever. Like,
yeah, you told me that too when you would when we were gonna work on that, and I told you the same thing. I said, no, man, I don't want you to take money. I said, I'm just writing to write. You're like, well, you're gonna take my money. I said, no, I'm not gonna take your money, dude. I said, I'm doing this for me because I just like writing music, dude. You're like, well, you're gonna take it.
But no, like, so when I put this up on Spotify, I'm gonna make you. Do you use Spotify?
I do.
Good. So I'm gonna make you a collaborator on the playlist, and then we'll, anything you have that you've done that is available on Spotify, I'm just gonna attach that to the playlist. It'll say like Dakota Rivera discography. I actually have a playlist I already started, but I'll
okay.
I don't know if I sent it to you before, so that'll be attached.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'll make sure I send it, and then so this will be up on YouTube, be up on Spotify. We're definitely gonna we'll wait a couple months or something, but we'll have to do another interview for sure. There's so much to go over, and so many exciting, to see how things are developing for you, man. I think.
Yeah, I love it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I think there's it's exciting. Yeah, I think there's many things that will still unfold and within your genre, and then like with this other within your primary genre of brutal death, but also, you know, with the thruster and with you know, I'm interested to see even like you know, if there'll be like more like stuff where you collaborate with your wife, you know, maybe you guys will have like a release where it's
You know,
well,
it's
I don't know
funny,
if you
too,
play
'cause-
guitar or something, but well, like, you know, maybe.
No, I wish, man. Cedric brought up something though about it. He's like, I don't know if your wife threw her throat out, but he's like, if maybe she should do this with you or something. I was like, no.
Well, you know, yeah. I mean, if it's sounding good to you, which you know,
she's
and
sounding
everything.
good, man.
And I mean, people like that kind of stuff. I mean, that's like a headline, like wife and husband in brutal death project. You know, like
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
you know, of course, the music is the most important thing, and then do they enjoy it? But I mean, that only adds to it. You know.
I'll do the visceral gutturals, and she can just do the lows the entire time.
There you go.
There we go, man. We've already got it situated.
So, what you guys need to do is you need to check out Delirious Compulsion, Crypt Ripper, Bitchsectomy, Carcass, Rapist, and you also need to tap in with Ossuary. I don't think I'm saying that correctly. Ossuary?
Ossuary, yep.
Ossuary, like Joshua. Ossuary Industries. There was a promo photo, I think, of maybe a band you collaborated with that I used. Was it like Putrefied? Something with a P. I see. It looked like you had a release on Ossuary.
Oh yeah, Putrefied Degradation.
Yeah. Okay. So, like I said, you just gotta follow Dakota on Instagram, or you know, send him a message on Facebook. You know, be his friend, so you can like, you know, see the full range of work. And then also you gotta if you're interested, at least you need to check out this interview on Spotify so you could see the playlist with extended discography. But yeah, man, hey, we'll talk for a minute still after I close out the interview. But
Okay.
yeah, hey, anyone that hears this, thank you so much for checking out the show. Be sure to tap in with Dakota and Ossuary Industries, and keep it heavy out there. Appreciate you, brother.